Not as bad as I thought it would. Not too oily and stuff like that, which is a sign of a leak. So that's good. Good news is it's not getting a large leak up here anyway. And we're looking for a large leak. Just to leak it all out every year is a substantial leak. Let's see where she's leaking. Trying to look for any oil staining. Some oil there. I don't really see that over here. Well, that's not good. The coil is definitely leaking, but the coil is not in real good shape. The fins are, kind of looks like this unit's been at the beach. Fins are falling off. Getting a little hit down here in the bottom of the coil. Basically what we're gonna do is we have one company that still makes a dry charge 407C unit is what they call it. 407C is a alternate refrigerant to 22, but we're going to actually use 22 in the system because it only works better that way. You don't have to use the 407C in the new unit. So what we're going to do right now is we've recovered the Freon out of the old unit, and I'm going to cut the big line first. We're going to run a bunch of nitrogen through the lines and try to get out as much of the old oil that we can. Once I'm done with that, we're going to cap both lines and we're going to pressurize it with nitrogen to just make sure that the rest of the line set all the way to the unit in the attic and the coil are all leak free when we come back to do the final install of the old unit. So, you know, she lived a good life. We debated on fixing the leaks in the coil, but we just didn't feel good that it would be a long-lasting repair given the state of the rest of the coil. So that's where we're at. So we are certain there's no other leaks. Yeah, this was like in 2002. Dad kind of threw me to the wolves. Go try and fix this. And I didn't know much about anything, but ended up, I guess, fixing some things. And you know, back then I kind of think back and it's like ignorance was bliss. You know, I didn't worry about all the readings. I didn't know that all these readings were good or bad, or that this reading caused this failure in the long term. And so it's kind of like the old ignorance is bliss thing. You know, you don't even, like, hey, that line is cold and there's cool air coming out of the vents, I'm good, you know. And now it's like, okay, well, what is the temperature of the air coming out of the vents? Because that tells you another side to the system, and this isn't healthy and that's not healthy. And it's like, oh man, you know. One thing me and Dad never did was, when you weld, you need to flow like nitrogen through the lines when you weld, because oxygen gets in the line and then it oxidizes on the outside. I'm sure you've seen that whenever you weld something, but that forms inside the pipe. And you know, for a while my dad would think that's a load of crap. I have never done that, boy, in my life, you know. And now he'll go to weld something and be like, Joe, where's the nitrogen? I need to weld something. Because he's seen that you'll weld and the inside of the pipe will still be shiny copper like that, and it's just really a superior way to do it. And yeah, I think that goes back to just when you don't know what you're doing, it's like, man, I'm just welding the line here, you know. Oh, I'm supposed to flow nitrogen through the line. And like what we're doing now is I'm going to go in the attic and I'm going to cut this line at the air handler, and we're going to flush this line out, because with the new unit you're also changing, you're going from like a mineral oil to a synthetic oil. And whereas it's not, you know, they used, when this first came out, they said, oh my gosh, if those two touch, a chemical reaction is going to happen, it's going to ruin the system in 5 hours. And it really doesn't. But the more that you can have a higher percentage of, let's say if I didn't do anything, we had 80% synthetic and 20% mineral, we'll get it to like 98% synthetic, maybe 2% mineral, just the residual oil that's going to be kind of clinging to the walls. And every little step that we do is going to be, we're going to get closer and closer to that perfect level of a system install.
Hey, I'm Rob Shearer. This is my son Joe. I am the first generation air conditioning contractor in our family, and Joe is the second generation AC contractor.
And I am Joe Shearer, second generation licensed air conditioning contractor in the state of Florida.
I have been doing this since 1976 and had my own company since 1991.
And I've been doing this since 2002 and had my own company since 2016. It's been a long time. gonna push it off that hard?
Sure am, but
Why don't we get Mark's hand truck like we normally do?
I know, but this also, you know what? This one actually would be. I bought that little lamp. Slide it down.
Huh?
I've got two different ways I can use it. Nice finish. Matte finish.
That's an interesting looking dryer. Look at that dryer.
Gosh, it is, isn't it? Are you sure it's not a bobber?
Yeah.
I think that's one of your old fishing bobbers.
A little black ball.
Interesting. Nice. Quality. I think he's great. We're going to do a fantastic job. It's going to be great. We're going to make your unit great again.
I flow so much nitrogen. No one in the world flows more nitrogen than I do.
Nobody in the
Nobody. We're going to flow so much nitrogen.
It's going to be so great.
Listen.
Oh, gosh. Nitrogen, well, let me do this first.
I changed my mind because
No, you can't change your mind.
I need the bottle under full max capacity to really
You female.
get it.
Hope it ain't empty.
All right, I'll call you when I'm upstairs.
If it is, I brought an empty one. Call me.
Call me.
Except his bugs are still bugging me. It's really bugging me. Wonder why they call them bugs. I have no idea.
What, the gnats are bothering you?
Yeah, the
Got
bugs.
some cologne for you. The filter won't change the state of the oil. It is still a mineral oil, and it'll pass it right through. And then mix with the synthetic oil that's in this one. That's what we're trying to stop. But it'll filter, it'll trap any particulate, and it'll also absorb any moisture and neutralize any acid. Ready? Yep. Easy. Easy. Sink it in the ground.
I didn't. Awesome.
Higher. Okay, now you can kind of rest it your finger. Pick this side up a little bit. that's pretty serious when we get on a job. And for the most part, I mean, he is there. He's on a mission. He's going to get that thing done as soon as possible. But as the day goes on, our spirits are lightened a little bit. And he likes to mess with me because he knows how particular I am about things. Man, he is a man on a mission when we first pull up to a job. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I've learned a lot from my father. From just knowing what tools are to he taught me as much as he knew about refrigeration and air conditioning. And that's how a lot of guys are. They're taught by their dad, and their dad was taught by their dad, and then they say I've been doing this for 30 years, but really it doesn't make it right for 30 years. So, but he's taught me a lot, that's for sure.
It is an awesome thing. I'm telling you, we never fight, and we always agree, and everything gets done exactly the way both of us want it done. So that's awesome.
Well, sometimes it's like that, but you know, I am him 20 years ago,
Right.
and I'm underneath the house, and he's yelling at me to get the copper lines straight and strapped up, and I'm like, what the heck? Who cares?
That's all I ever hear.
And now
Who
I'm the
cares?
one saying, get them lines straight, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, we
I
did a
am
little
him.
role reversal. That must be true.
And
now
yeah.
the teacher is the student, and the student is the teacher.
And I think when I'm your age, whoever is the young kid and coming up, I'm gonna be like, listen, kid, I've been doing this too long to hear from you. You know, so I do understand where it comes from. It's the circle of life, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to be telling his young son, if he ever has one that's working with him, just get it done. Quit playing around with it.
I've had my heyday. I've done my beautiful installs. I'm through with it. You know? They just fail anyway. It's an air conditioner. He did say that the teacher has become the student, and I think that's because there are a lot of things that he didn't really get taught in a trade school type atmosphere, and neither did I. But with the internet these days, I mean, if you've got time to research it, you can learn so much. I mean, that is a huge advantage that I have that my dad never had, was the internet. If I come across a unit like this and I don't have the manual, I don't know the specs, whip my iPhone out and Google it, and probably within 5 to 10 minutes you'll find the literature that you're needing, and that just was not available. Gosh, even I'd even say 10 years ago. It's not like it is today, that's for sure. we go, we're close. 400 microns, 485. I'm gonna let it pull down a little bit further below 500. We're gonna valve it off and make sure it holds, and then we will get some juice in this thing. Here's the screen. These are the, this sensor is the return air. That's up inside the air handler where I put the filter. This is the supply air. This is in your vent. This is the gauges reading. And we're gonna look at the right superheat and subcooling. That's how we're gonna charge the system up. But this app tells you everything you wanna know about the system performance. Now right now, the system's not even running, but it will tell us exactly how much air we're moving through the system. It'll tell us what the temperature split that we have and what it should be. So that will tell us that. Subcooling's good, superheat's okay. The app's saying it's high, but it's not. It's just because I didn't profile the system, but this is the total work that it's doing right now. 42,000 on the money. Let's go to system performance here. This shows us in real time what our actual CFM is. So 1400 is what it's supposed to be. So we're right there at it. You can see our target temperature split is supposed to be 16.4. We're running at 16.7. So it's a little bit colder, but it's definitely, I mean, it's 0.4. So this shows us what our capacity is. Right now it's doing a lot of dehumidification. You can see how 130% of what the latent is supposed to be right now because it's so humid. Got our enthalpy change there. And here's the actual efficiency, the watts of the condenser, the watts of the air handler, the total watts, and then they divide that by the work that it's doing, puts us at 12.5 EER, which rivals brand new systems. So that's our full report. And then what we can do here is we're going to email the report, and this is what it's going to show. All the numbers of how I left it, all the numbers I just showed you in the report here. Pretty cool. Approved. Don't do that to the unit.